Good morning, Florida lacrosse news. Morning coffee with Lee Roggenberg. Welcome to our viewers out there today. It's Friday. Friday is always a great day for lacrosse in the state of Florida. Great games, plenty of games. There's actually a number of games over the weekend that are certainly worth getting out to also. And Lee Roggenberg, and it's a light night on the college side. But before we get into the high school scores, let me mention something I saw on the Twitter feed this morning. We have a fundraiser going on at Sickles High School tonight, 5:30 to 8:30. It's for Addie Brandenburg, and she is recently diagnosed with leukemia. So the school is getting involved with the fundraising to help out with the expenses. The location is at Sickles High School. They're going to charge $7 for, and I believe the HCPS stands for Hillsborough County Public School students, and $10 for non-students. The lacrosse community has always been there when we have these types of situations. So if you have the time and you can get over there tonight, worthy cause. I've asked the people who've put out the tweet about whether it'll be a way to donate beyond the fundraiser, and they'll get back to me with the information. And when they do, I'll post it on the website. Addie Brandenburg, good luck with your recovery. Okay. Last night on the boys' side, I was at the St. John Paul Pinecrest game. Certainly a game where Pinecrest served notice about how difficult they're going to be to beat. St. John Paul played a heck of a tough game back with them. Turnovers kind of hurt them, making a run the second half. Pinecrest was able to pull away. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about Jordan Fison, Pinecrest midfielder, number 3. He's a junior. He's committed to Notre Dame. I'm sure that a lot of the parents on the sidelines did not know about him going in. I don't think there's anyone who watched the game last night who doesn't know him going out. Jordan is a handful to handle. He has a speed quickness combination, and his lacrosse IQ has really taken a leap. He doesn't force the issue, but when he decides to go, it takes an awful lot to handle him. 7 goals last night. Nigel Vital, also junior on the team, 4 goals last night, and also had to handle the faceoff chores for the most part. The two of them are dynamic together. It's not a two-man team by any means. There's a lot of solid players. There's a lot of the polls are very strong. Goaltending last night was very good. Look out for them. They are in the same district as St. Andrews, and I am certainly going to be at that game this year. Now, the final score on that, since I didn't mention it, was 17-13. And I will be writing up the recap today. Another big game up north. Interesting storylines. Ponte Vedra with a 13-10 win at home over Montverde Academy. Montverde. And very interesting because in the past, when Chris Spaulding was at Lake Highland Prep, obviously that game with Ponte Vedra was always must watch every year. Now he's over at Montverde. That program is taking leaps and bounds and is not far away, based on last night's result, from making noise in the brackets this year. Ponte Vedra, Chris Polanski doing a great job up there, taking over and winning the game. And that's the important thing. They got the W. Lots of great talent back. I look forward to touching base with both coaches this weekend to get some views on how the game played out. And again, just it's great to see another program making its mark. Also last night, interesting in Orlando, Haggerty of the 8-7 win over Oviedo. That's one of those games that gets you the consideration for top 15 polling. Two teams that are sort of on the cusp. I can tell you that doing the two-way poll this year was the toughest of the bunch. And you could just kind of tell that there was going to be a lot of battles for that bottom half of the poll. And don't be surprised when that switches back and forth during the year. Haggerty with placing a marker for themselves this week. Windermere Prep 8-5 over First Academy. Coral Reef 14-6 over St. Brendan. Berlin Jesuit in a pitcher's duel 4-2 over Stoneman Douglas. Tahapa Kaliga 13-10 over Lakeland Christian. We have Pasco with a 9-7 win over Trinity Catholic. Immokalee on the road, 10-8 win over Winter Haven. Miami Country Dade in another pitcher's duel, 4-3 at home over South Fork. Barron Collier with a nice 14-11 win over Naples. West Shore 10-6 over Merritt Island. And easy winners last night. We had Oxbridge, Newsom, Alonzo, Steinbrenner, Park Vista, Windermere, Bishop Barrow, Gulf Coast, Lake Howell, St. Edwards, Bishop Moore, Olympia, Palm Harbor University, Episcopal Jacksonville, Mandarin, and Estero. Before I get to the girls' scores last night, I wanted to bring up something that I just tweeted out this morning, but I also printed it out. And since I'm still old school, low tech, I just wanted to point something out. This is a print of the screen from the National Federation of High Schools, the points of emphasis to the referees this year. The reason I'm putting it up is because when you go to a game, there's still a bit of a misperception about how referee calls sort of get approached and how they call a game. And a lot of times, and referees, the experienced referees will tell you this, a lot of times they don't necessarily go entirely by the letter of the book, but they're judging how the game is being played and whether or not they've got to crack down a little bit, or if they're going to get a little bit more go, just to sort of keep the flow, and also because the interpretation allows them to do so. One of the things that when I was in the stands that I heard last night was hit to the head. A lot of times, even though I'm not sure exactly how it's defined in the rule book, there's a big difference between a stick hitting the head and the stick brushing the helmet. And I think a lot of times people who are relatively inexperienced with the rules will assume that any contact to the head is going to be called. And that's not necessarily true, particularly if it's a very light brush that doesn't affect the person carrying the ball at all. So don't be so quick to jump on the ref for that particular item. Now, the other thing also is the reason I showed that slide is that people who have been around the sport a long time, and some of them are still having a hard time accepting the fact that we've gone a further distance with player safety today than what they experienced when they were a player or a coach. And it's very simple. Just like, look, if the NFL can make targeting a point of emphasis and throw the flag to try to keep players' concussion issues cut down, there's no reason at all to complain about it when we're doing the same thing in high school lacrosse. Just because someone gets lit up doesn't mean it's part of the game anymore. Because someone gets targeted, it's not part of the game anymore. We all try to want to make sure that kids do not have concussion issues. And remember, some of these kids are 8th and 9th grade. They're playing against a 12th grader. It's not developed physical specimens like you see in the NFL. We don't want kids having concussion issues in high school. It's not part of the game. Don't be surprised when the penalties get called easier, get called quicker, and the minutes that can be served. And when you look at the slide, it says you can be ejected. Just like in the NFL, they can eject you for a targeting hit. And I've seen that multiple times this year. If a player gets ejected for a targeting hit, don't be surprised. And one other thing I want to kind of touch base on also is that once in a while, the players have got to take this on themselves as a responsibility. Sometimes that targeting occurs because that player who did the targeting was trash talked over and above. Kids, it's an emotional sport. It's a physical sport. I understand that. Keep your talking to the positive stuff that your team did instead of targeting at someone that maybe you burned on a move. Because you're not doing anyone any good by going with that direction with trash talking. And you're kind of setting yourself up to be put in a position where someone wants to get even for that. And then that's where the cheap shot comes in. So be careful and be smart out there. The sport is not built in order to have people trash talk. That's not the intent. Read up on the history of the sport. Creator's game. You honor the sport. And one way you do it is to respect the opposition. Go out, play hard, but always remember, respect the opposition. Okay, on the girls' side last night, a couple of interesting results, out-of-state results. We had a couple of our northern girls programs hosting Georgia teams last night. Lassiter, Georgia, with the 11-5 win over Ponte Vedra. Bartram Trail with the 13-10 win over Walton, Georgia. Those are both very strong traditional programs in Georgia. So we got the split there. And congrats to Bartram on that one. We actually have a submit game recap on that. We'll post later today. Okay, on the girls' side, Oxbridge with a 12-7 win over North Broward Prep. Menendez 14-7 over Gainesville. Calvary Christian Clearwater 9-7 over Tampa Catholic. Jensen Beach 9-3 over Sebastian River. Kings Academy of the 11-6 win over St. John Paul II. Pinecrest 15-12 over Benjamin. Plant with the 16-9 win over Academy of Holy Names. Lely 14-6 over Golden Gate. Estero 13-4 over Riverdale. Wellington also 13-4 over Dwyer. Bartow 17-16 over Lakeland. St. Andrews with the 15-12 win over Palm Beach Central. That's a good win for the Scots there on the girls' side. Pensacola Catholic 15-7 over South Walton, battle up north. And Olympia with the 9-3 win over Edgewater. Easy winners on the girls' side last night: St. Edwards, Wiregrass Ranch, Cypress Bay, Windermere, Berkeley Prep, Vieira, Seacoast Collegiate, First Academy, Lake Island, Manatee, Riverview, Satellite, Winter Springs, Out of Door Academy, Episcopal of Jacksonville, South Fork, South Lake, Niceville, Gulf Breeze, and Bishop Verot. Upcoming games today. Got some beauties. St. Andrews is hosting Plant. That to me is the most intriguing matchup of the early season. I will certainly be there. This is Plant has a weekend where they are not only doing this, but they're also hosting. I believe they're hosting Ponte Vedra on Saturday too, and that's just back to back. That's stepping up. Good for you, Coach Francis, and the squad, and good luck this weekend. Certainly looking to see how these two teams, which have very interesting stylistic differences in how they match up. Last year's 1A state champ versus last year's 2A semifinalist. If you are anywhere in the area and you want to go see a game, you're not going to get a better one. We also have Windermere hosting Vieira. Another, again, interesting matchup as far as getting into that top 15 2A poll this week. Lake Mary is hosting Jesuit. That will also be a heck of a game. Dwyer is hosting Wellington. Cardinal Mooney is hosting Berkeley Prep in one of their traditional rival games. Also tonight, Apopka is going to host Edgewater. University School hosting Archbishop McCarthy. Creekside will be hosting Mill Creek of Georgia, looking to get back on track. Columbus hosts Westminster Christian. St. Thomas is hosting Western. Jensen Beach is hosting Vero Beach. Jensen Beach off to a very nice start this year. I want to see if they keep that going. Cardinal Gibbons is hosting American Heritage Plantation. Lakeland is hosting Eastlake. Jupiter hosts Benjamin. One of the few times I just don't kind of pencil that one in automatically, or as we used to call it, the best damn district final in Florida, period. Of course, they're 1A and 2A separated these days, and they do play home and home, or home and away this year. Please, schools, if you got a natural rivalry in your different classes, think about it for next season's scheduling. Play home and away. It's a great way to keep building the rivalry and selling tickets, by the way. Timber Creek is hosting Oviedo. Nice will be hosting Pope of Georgia. On the girls' side tonight, Boca Raton hosts Park Vista. Gulf Breeze hosts Columbus of Georgia. West Florida is hosting Pensacola Catholic. St. Thomas is hosting Western. Bucyrus is hosting St. Augustine. Bartram Trail hosts Lassiter of Georgia. Oak Hall is hosting Fleming Island. And Plant is hosting Gulf Coast. Saturday games, beside the Plant Ponte Vedra one, St. Edward's is hosting Creekside. That's certainly intriguing. I don't know if I can get myself out of bed and get over to that one. I've got Hobart today, but I think we promised Booker Corrigan I'd check in on the game he's broadcasting. And then we're going over, I guess really can't. We're going to go over to Naples tomorrow night to go see the Harvard-Ohio State game. If you're in the Naples area or want to just drive over, obviously, if you're in my area, it's only about an hour and a half, and you're going to see a high-end Division I lacrosse game at the Naples complex that's going to be hosting our Final Four, and certainly worth. You don't get a lot of chances to see Division I men's lacrosse in South Florida, so take advantage if you can. Lake Mary is hosting Seminole on the girls' side. Pensacola Catholic hosts Columbus, Georgia. On the girls' side, Bishop Moore is hosting Ponte Vedra. Lake Highland is hosting Lassiter, Georgia. Episcopal School hosts Walton. And St. Thomas is hosting Naples. Those are all the Saturday games. Now, because Monday is light, we'll save that for Monday morning's morning coffee on the schedule. A couple of things yesterday. American Heritage Del Rey's Caitlin Wurzberger, 2 goals for North Carolina versus Pittsburgh. And Lake Island Prep's Ainsley Thurston with a goal for Duke against Wofford. Okay. Hashtag TAFTAG. Take a friend to a game, and you've got plenty of options to do that tonight. I'm noticing that the crowds are starting to get a little bit bigger again, and that's a welcome sign as I think people are putting COVID behind them and want to get on and get out to games. Hashtag lay off the refs. Hashtag grow the game. Kids, one of the ways you grow the game is respect your opponent. This is Lee Roggenberg, Florida Lacrosse News, saying so long from the Sunshine State.